Welcome everybody who's called in so far. We are just waiting for our guest.
Test 1, 2.
Welcome, General Smith. Thank you for calling in tonight.
Well, thank you.
We have a couple of callers on the phone so far, and we're just getting people into the room here, getting set up. We have Chaplain William Adam, our wing chaplain, and then we also have Captain Martin Brazier, who is a character development instructor, on the line with us. As you know, we've been going through our Learning Lab series of General Smith's videos for the Core Values series, and tonight our topic is respect. And I just want to thank General Smith for the respect he's showing by appearing on this Learning Lab with us. Sir, thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Excellent. I appreciate the chance to spend a little bit of time with you this evening.
Thank you. For those of you who've joined us before, we typically go ahead and start out our Learning Lab by showing a General Smith video. So I will go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to share the respect video, and then we will talk about it on the other side.
You're going to make me watch my own video? That's pretty cruel. Welcome. Thanks for joining us in this short video series on the core values, and this will be the final video in that particular series as we talk about respect. Now, I've got to do a little true confessions here. I was in the Air Force for a long period of time, and I was in the Air Force when General Fogelman, the Chief of Staff, introduced the core values to the Air Force. And our fourth core value, respect, was not one of those that were part of the Air Force core values. So when I joined Civil Air Patrol and I became familiar with CAP's core values, I'm going, so where's this respect thing coming from? It's not one of the Air Force's core values. But over the years, as I have grown in my experiences within Civil Air Patrol, I have come to respect the core value of respect all the more. It's one of my favorites now because it's one of those things that we can talk the talk about how good we're going to do, but if we're not treating each other out of an attitude of respect, it's just we're moving our lips and it's not happening. So respect is absolutely critical. One of the cool things about Civil Air Patrol is we have people from all walks of life, and the experiences and the strengths that these folks bring to the table are amazing. But we have people that don't have the same background as we might have, and they may think about things differently, but that's a richness for the organization. And for us to capitalize on that and make the organization all the stronger, it comes down to treating each other with an attitude of respect. Each and every person should feel respected. Each and every person should feel valued, that they have a voice in the organization, and what they have to say and to bring to the table is valued and important. So I ask you, please, to deal with each other, as well as yourself, with an attitude of respect. That's like the cherry on top for our core values. We have talked about integrity and the importance, foundational nature of that particular core value. We have talked about service, volunteer service. It's what we're called to do. Excellence, the level of performance that we should strive for. The cherry on top, how we can truly be successful as an organization, is treating each other with an attitude of respect. So think about these core values that we have in CAP. Learn about them, embrace them, find that there is alignment between your ethical underpinnings and your core values and those of the organization within which we serve. Have these conversations, whether you're a cadet, whether you're a senior member, and if we can embrace and put to practice and model these core values, Civil Air Patrol will be all the stronger. Thank you very much.
There were people in the room that were silently clapping, General Smith. So I will go ahead and unmute you, sir. Welcome back to us.
Well, thanks. I'm sure there's a lot of people that'd like to know how to mute me more often.
I have the power to unmute, so that's pretty important tonight. Before we carry this conversation forward, I just want to recognize Cadet Second Lieutenant William Gutermuth, who is in the room with us. He is a cadet at our home unit at our wing headquarters, McCord Composite Squadron. And I made guessing your attendance tonight, sir, sort of a game in the wing, and he correctly guessed that it would be you. And so I have a little Starbucks card for him.
Congratulations.
Caffeine.
Oh, yeah.
Smoothies only.
He actually also showed up to this meeting, and I just wanted to say thank you, Cadet Gutermuth, for joining us. Do you have any comments as the cadet commander in your unit about respect and how you see that come to play in your unit?
I would say specifically with the newer cadets it's great to watch as cadets start to take on the core values specifically of respect, because when they first come in, some can see it as a game or some can see it as something that is just for them to meet up. But as they progress in the cadet program and they become more familiar with the cadet values, respect in particular, whether it be respect through saluting officers or through their customs and courtesies, it's very, very nice to see cadets grow up through the program, myself included, and eventually get to the point where they are respecting everyone, including themselves, be it through their goals or through their health or whatnot.
Respecting yourself, I like that you pointed that out. Poor behavior or poor choices, those often are disrespecting ourselves. General Smith, I'll turn it back to you. Do you have any comments?
Well, thanks. I appreciate you all talking about the core values. I believe it's important, and I'm happy to hear that that's part of the things that the cadets are looking at. I would, this sounds a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and maybe it is, but for those of us who are in leadership positions, not only in Civil Air Patrol but elsewhere, about 98% of our people problems would go away if individuals would treat each other out of an attitude of respect. It just it kind of boggles the mind sometimes, and I found that a lot of people will expect everyone to treat them with respect, but in turn they're not treating others with respect. So respect is a two-way street, and just realizing that we have an organization that has people of every conceivable walk of life, every type of background, a wide variety of diversity, to include thought diversity, to where people think of things differently. And that's a good thing for the organization. It makes the organization that much richer. But for it to work is each one of us needs to respect one another, even if they don't look like us, don't talk like us, don't think of things in the same manner as us. It's all good because you roll all that together and it makes for a wonderful organization. And I appreciate what you're doing in Washington Wing to build those core competencies and respect as well. The reports I get is that Washington Wing is doing great things, and my thanks to all of you for helping to make that happen.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone on the phone that has any comments about our topic tonight? Make sure and unmute yourself.
Or questions for the national commander. It's not every day we get him on the phone.
Right.
And while we're waiting, General Smith, this is Colonel Norman. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And when you talk about respect, we just wrapped up Regent Staff College last week. And our chaplain that's on the phone, Chaplain Adam, he covered a session on diversity. And respect was one of the key points that he hit in dealing with, diverse people, diverse cultures, diverse ethnicities. And respect was one of the things that he hit home. And the discussion that we had during that class was very rich, and it was really, really good. And I think that I totally agree with your on the issue of respect. It's so very important, and you can't just expect people to respect you without you respecting them. And we are trying to raise the bar on professionalism in the wing, and we're doing really well, I think. But it's nice to hear that you also get reports that we're doing well. That makes me happy. It makes, I'm sure, everybody in the room and on the phone happy that we're moving in the right direction. So thank you very much for saying that, sir.
Oh, absolutely. And Chaplain Adam, I appreciate you covering the topic of diversity, and respect is a key part of that.
Well, thank you, sir. One of the things before I was a chaplain, I spent 37 years as a cop, and there was a PDF about our Civil Air Patrol core values that was written a few years ago, and I was able to put a little bit of input in it. And one of the things that I had said was that as a cop, you're always innocent until proven guilty. And when you arrest someone, well, when you look at somebody with the diversity eyes, with our family eyes, you give them the respect, and you allow them to have that respect without us judging immediately, and let them be who they are, as well as allowing us to be respectful to them before we jump to conclusions. And I think this is one of the things in our great family of Civil Air Patrol that we're doing a really good job with that in our family, and really allowing us to take the time to look at others before jumping to conclusions or innocent till proven guilty type attitude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's important because tribalism, it's a human instinct. It's something that everyone has to work to overcome. But the norm is you're comfortable with folks who are like you. It pushes your comfort level when you're around people who are not. And for us to be able to build that comfort level to where we are accepting and valuing folks regardless, whether they're like us or not, makes for a very rich organization. And one thing that I'll mention before you all get rid of me is that we have a crazy number of regulations and pamphlets in CAP, and I'd like to say that I've read them all and memorized them all. There was a few years ago, as I was doing a little bit of homework on CAP's core values, I came across there's a very nice pamphlet that talks about core values, and I was embarrassed to think that I had not previously even realized that pamphlet was around. But I'd recommend it to anyone who might have a little bit of free time and want to do a little bit of homework on CAP's core values, whether you're teaching character development, working with leadership with the cadets, or whatever the case may be. There's some nice expanded info on the core values there that whoever it was that wrote that to begin with did a really good job.
Excellent.
I do want to say before we let you go, two things. One is that we will actually be kicking off a series of featuring your leadership videos starting on the 5th and then rotating every other week. So for those of you in the wing, please look for your email to specify the details on when those are. But you can actually watch those on the national YouTube channel now. There's a playlist there for all the leadership videos. I know Cadet Lieutenant Gudermuth has watched all of them because he told me that this weekend. Smith, what he's going to do.
We need to get the lieutenant out more.
Thank you, sir.
You meant he was going to bring back some leadership topics.
Oh, yes. Well, and so on that note, Cadet Lieutenant Gudermuth is going to be my co-host for one of those topics. Once he told me that he's already watched all of your videos, I challenged him with finding one that resonates with him, and then he's going to be my co-host for that week. So he'll be in talking about leadership from the cadet perspective within the unit.
Yeah, it's my personal favorite topic, which you could probably tell by looking at the videos. But thanks. I'm humbled that you all would consider the videos worthy of your time and effort as a part of your staff meetings.
Thank you.